Welcome back to Summerslam. It is part 2, the final 5 matches of Summerslam, and we begin with a feature match from the women's division on SmackDown. It's Blair Davenport taking on Bianca Belair. Davenport's accomplished a lot in her young career from the small shows in New Zealand and Australia. She branched out into the UK with tours of Japan and Mexico included. So she's a well-travelled young veteran, and the WWE have given her the star treatment of a SummerSlam debut against one of their biggest stars in what some are calling a dream match. She worked with Dakota Kai back in the day in New Zealand, but when Kai approached her backstage before this match, she was standoffish toward her, as there was rumours that Kai was involved in the food poisoning that kept Davenport out of a show where WWE scouts were present. Kai went on to sign with NXT while Davenport made her own way, as just described, but Kai tries to be chummy with Davenport. She approached with Io in tow and talked all kinds of crap about how Bianca was a bad egg and whatnot. A bad egg. She's a bad egg, she said. That's a New Zealand accent. It's very different from my accent. Please don't get the mistaken. Bad egg. So Kai tries to be chummy with her. Davenport humours her, but is politely not taking any of it seriously. But what Davenport doesn't know is that Damage Control have been messing with Bianca for months, including, of course, interfering in her matches, but outside of that as well, messing with her hotel room, interfering with her gear, all sorts of nonsense. Bianca's a big fan favourite, of course, so Davenport kind of by default takes a slight heel role in this match, not really using dirty tactics, but she is aggressive, and she matches Bianca's power, which I think perhaps is a surprise to Bianca. There's not many that can do that in the division currently. Davenport also shows toughness and determination, especially when kicking out of a glam slam. There's also a 540 splash she was able to survive, and Bianca's not able to pull off the KOD. And her lack of research on Davenport costs her when a great combo of a driver, a curb stomp, and then a Falcon Arrow all land. Bianca's able to kick out of the first Falcon Arrow, but Davenport shows no hesitation in pulling her back up and hitting another, ending the night for Bianca, winning the match in her debut. After the match, Davenport finds out that Bianca was messed with a lot in the build-up to this match, and she's annoyed by this, but Bianca shakes her hand, says she's not accepting any excuses, she was beaten fair and square, she just wants a rematch down the line, and Davenport has a lot of respect for this. Next on the card is for the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Ricochet. And this is a chance to see what the IC division's all about. It's a bridge between the lighter weighted wrestlers and the heavier. On Raw, all the weight divisions are separated, but on SmackDown, these weight classes are absent. The world title, the lack of a limit, means that we see the largest monsters battling it out, as we will see later with Kane and Vader. But for the Intercontinental title, that's a division that's found its place as a land of opportunity for all. Any size, any style. But Gunther has kind of ruined this for the entire season. He won the title last season over AJ Styles, and he's just dominated it since. The fans are itching to see some comeuppance for Gunther, especially from a smaller man. And Ricochet could be that man. He thinks he's a superhero. His delusion makes him try crazy stuff, which is fan-friendly, but not particularly friendly to his body. There is videos of Ricochet's training that have gone viral. His unorthodox sessions showcase not only his incredible tolerance for risk and punishment, but also his manic personality. He truly believes himself to be a soldier of a power beyond our understanding, and though he seems like a guy that's hard to be friends with, he does generally come across as a nice guy and Fans love the action he brings to the ring, so this was set up to be a great styles clash of a match. And Ricochet finds some momentum. He gets on a roll, hitting various high-flying moves around the ring, not letting Gunther escape. Flies at him from all angles in spectacular fashion, but eventually takes it one step too far. Spinning too many times in the air, missing Gunther completely, and being returned to the mat heavily with a powerbomb. One more time for good measure, and Gunther secures his reign as Intercontinental Champion. A big feature match is up next. No holds barred between MVP and Roman Reigns. The fans get a nice surprise with MVP coming out in his old gear. He's been a wrestler for a long time. He's a former Intercontinental Champion himself. But he's on the back end of his career. So seeing him in the gear he used in his prime was a fun little addition to this match, but this is a feud that tracks back to April, when Reigns and Sikoa worked together to force a title match from Bobby Lashley, and they used MVP in doing so, going as far as having him eliminated from the heavyweight division on Raw to force Lashley's hand. Lashley, of course, was able to successfully defend the title against Reigns, but the bad feelings between all involved continued. MVP talked his way into this match with Reigns, no holds barred, to potentially even up the match, and from MVP's perspective, hopefully even up the score against Reigns. The match is as advertised. Weapons and brutality abound. MVP busts Reigns open outside the ring at one point, but he takes too long celebrating that feat. As Reigns returns the fury and continues the fight, they brawl all around the place in this match. Reigns introduces another chair, as if this match needed more violence, and returns the match to the ring after some back and forth. Taking over the match from that point does Reigns. A Superman punch connects. He sets up a table in the corner, and things are looking bad for MVP. He's battled so hard up until this point, but he goes through the table with a spear. It seems academic at this point, but another Superman punch connects, and finally a spear. MVP fighting till the end, but there's nothing left except for the mark that MVP left on the former champion. Roman Reigns is the victor and will be a keen observer of tonight's main event as he steps closer to positioning himself as the next contender. Our co-main event requires quite a lot of backstory. The broader story you might already know. Undertaker intentionally burning down his parents' family funeral home, killing his parents and his younger brother. He got off any major punishment as a minor with mental issues, but unbeknownst to The Undertaker, until 1998, but known to Paul Bearer all along, Kane survived that blaze and lived in a mental asylum in his youth. Taker won the title from Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam 98. He began to mistreat Paul Bearer, his manager, feeling little need for him any longer. So Bearer uses his secret of Kane against him. He brings Kane back into the fray, and together they cost Taker the title to Hogan in 1999. The feud between Kane and Undertaker was often in non-sanctioned matches, as Kane was irate, undeterred by rules, undeterred by titles. Undertaker, though, was eventually able to turn Kane against Bearer, as Bearer treated Kane similarly to how Bearer treated Taker. So this was all in the build to WrestleMania 15 in 2000, where the Brothers of Destruction formed an alliance for the first time and had an exhibition match as a new super team. And with Belair out of the picture, Kane and Taker dominated the tag division throughout 2000, though Taker was controlling and abusive of his younger brother, so the relationship eventually broke down. They lost the titles at SummerSlam 2001 and then went on to face each other at WrestleMania 16 in an Inferno match where The Undertaker did successfully burn Kane in the face, won the match, and that brought us to Vengeance in May of this year when we saw Kane's return. He has a mask to hide the scars. He cost Taker again for the WWE title, this time against Vader, and since Vengeance there's been a lot of promos, run-ins, back and forths between Kane and The Undertaker. It's a bit over the top, but you know, it's a lot of spooky, violent stuff, morgues, fire, graveyards, a lot of crazy stuff. But all we really know is that we haven't seen The Undertaker since their last battle outside the ring, and Kane told us that we're never going to see him again. So that brings us to this match. I've ignored Vader in all of this, but we've already had his story explained. He's not feared anyone since Kane and Undertaker, but he gives Kane a great fight here. Kane eventually overcomes him though. Chokeslam, followed by the Tombstone Piledriver, and for the first time, Kane is the WWE Champion. Still no sign of The Undertaker though.
The following champion versus champion contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the WWE Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, finally our main event. SummerSlam main event double championship, although only one title is on the line. It's the middleweight champion Kurt Angle taking on the heavyweight champion Bobby Lashley in the first interdivision championship match of its kind. It is for the heavyweight title. Kurt Angle has been incredibly dominant. He's the only middleweight champion since the title was introduced in 2001. He's cleared the division out, and he wants a new challenge. This was announced after the Vengeance match, which was a very tough match for Angle against Shinsuke Nakamura. Kurt Angle has definitely earned his opportunity at the heavyweight title through his feats in the middleweight division and of course being a former WWE World Champion, on top of all of the accomplishments that I've described in the past, NCAA, Olympics, you name it. He's one of the greats of all time, and he can really solidify his place in history, although he's already in the Hall of Fame, but he can go even further as the heavyweight champion. And this is a great match. I mean, both of these guys are incredible wrestlers. And when I say wrestler, I mean in the sense of the grappling art of wrestling. These guys are both top draw. Size really doesn't factor into it too much, which is a credit to Kurt Angle. It's a really back and forth match. It starts out, obviously, in the ring, but they, I think, both realize quickly that more will need to be done to get one over on the other. And of course, it's the SummerSlam main event. They want to make a big show of it. There's an Angle slam that lands, but it doesn't get the job done for Kurt. So he takes things up several notches with a moonsault to the table outside that Lashley had just cleared earlier. I don't think he was planning that, though he did vault his massive body over the top rope moments prior, so who knows what he had planned, but it doesn't go to his plan. And the table that they just fixed up from a couple matches ago is once again broken. Angle surprising everyone with an empty locker slam on his opponent. It looked like he dodged one coming from Lashley and reversed it straight back on him, but it doesn't get the job done. And then an effort in intimidation nearly cost Lashley when Angle picks his ankle. But Bobby recovers. He drills Angle in the corner with a running punch and fires up one more time. to hit a clean, empty locker slam for the victory. What a match. What a Summerslam. This raises as many questions as it answers. Who's next for Lashley as he attempts to complete an entire season as champion? When will Angle have to face Rollins, who was the winner of the Money in the Bank match earlier at this event? What about the welterweights? The welterweights will be our focus on the next episode as we enter the road to WrestleMania. But thank you for watching SummerSlam. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, have a good one.